God has even sent somebody to me and told me, you know what? God's not done with you yet. I've had people come to me and tell me God's got a work for you. God's got things for you. God's got time for you. God's got more life for you. God's got more energy for you. I've heard all of those things. In fact, Bobby, how old are you? I'm 52 now. And what'd you say?
I was just rubbing that in.
Yeah, he's like, you're that old? Yeah, I feel good. I'm praying the Caleb prayer. I plan on being stronger and stronger. I plan on God using me more and more. And I plan on God's influence being larger in my life than it was yesterday, tomorrow. And the day after that, larger again. I believe that God wants us to influence people, but I'm going to just say it like this. I believe that one of the greatest hindrances to the move of God in the kingdom that He desires to release on earth is unforgiveness. And if you stop for a minute, close your eyes or leave them open or whatever, and think about that individual that wronged you, that individual that hurt you, that individual that you haven't forgiven yet. That individual that by all rights should pay a price for the damage that they've done. Let's go back to the servant for a second. So, he's forgiven that. He goes out and he finds one of his fellow servants, grabs him by the throat. Hey, where's that dollar you owe me? I know we went out to have a cup of coffee the other day and you only had, we were over at Starbucks and I know you only had, $2.50. What is it now? Is it like $4 for coffee now or something? It's like, yeah. I know you only had $3.50, and so I spotted you that buck for that, so you could get the caramel you like in it. But I want it back. I want it back now. And he begins to choke him. And he begins to shake him. And he throws him on the ground and he says, I want it now. And so, move that time of day to today, and he just picks up the old cell phone. He calls the popo and he says, Johnny Law, come out and arrest my brother here because he owes me $1 and he won't pay me. So he does everything that he did earlier. He begs for forgiveness. He asks for him to forgive him. And he says, there ain't no way. So Johnny Law comes and gets him, tosses him. Well, everybody else standing around there going, man, just the other day. So they go back. They tell the big man in the town who he owed money to. And guess what? The big man got mad at him. So everything that he had already forgiven him fell back flat in his lap. So here's what I think. I think unforgiveness is like a jail cell. And I heard something tonight. I want to throw it at you and I want you to think about it. Because there was a long time in my life I didn't look like that guy. I looked like the life preserver. The guy that was underneath it, holding on to one of the ropes, barely able to tread water. Mad as you can't believe. Mad at God, mad at most of my friends. I was mad at David for a little while. It's my son. David's my son. Because he picks on me when he preaches, so I can pick on him. But I was mad. And in that anger is where unforgiveness settled into me. So, in my my own self-righteousness, I would pick fights and be belligerent, and I didn't really have to forgive because, you know, I wasn't planning on it. But you know what? I heard a guy say that God's really not in control, but you know what? He's in control of me, I got to tell you. Because that guy, he will lay on me, he'll lay a thought on me that I cannot get away from. And I realized I was headed in a direction that I'd fulfill the prophecy that my earthly father had spoken over me when I was 13. You'll be dead or in jail before you're 16. Fooled him. I told you guys that once already. But the bottom line, I was heading in a direction, again, that I'd be dead or in jail. God decided he wasn't done with me. And so he tossed a couple things in my path. And in an instant, I made one good decision that led to another good decision that led to another good decision. I forgave something in my life. I forgave an individual in my life. I forgave, and you know what? I didn't go and tell them. I didn't have to. I didn't have to. See, because forgiveness is, that's on you. Forgiveness comes out of you. Releasing forgiveness, that means that you relinquish the right to revenge. So, when Jesus was talking to Peter about forgiving his brother, you know, how many times should I forgive my brother when he comes and asks? We get it in our mind, that they have to ask before I have to release forgiveness. But that's not how the kingdom of heaven works when it comes to forgiveness. Mark talks about forgiveness, 11:25 and 26. I believe it's a spiritual, I hate using the word spiritual law, but you know how if you jump off a building, unless God intervenes, you are landing on the ground. Unless God intervenes, you're landing on the ground. So I looked at Mark 11:25 through 26, Luke 6, verse 3, verse 37, forgive and you'll be forgiven. And how about the Lord's Prayer? Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Here's what I see unforgiveness as. You can take it or leave it. Unforgiveness is a defense mechanism to shield us from the hurt. Insomuch that it thwarts the love of God in your life. It pushes back God's favor over you. And it won't allow His grace to change you anymore. You put yourself in a box that keeps the blessings of God off of you. You put yourself in a cell that keeps the blessings of God off you. So while you or me or whoever spent time defending against the hurt that came against us because we were wronged, even a perceived wrong, we threw up our own shield of unforgiveness and said, man, they don't deserve to be forgiven, and I wish God would just kill them and get rid of them, get them off the face of the earth. However it runs through your mind. Maybe you even have loops that play about getting even, or maybe you even have loops that play about getting your, not revenge, so to say, maybe revenge even, or your day where, you know, God shows, maybe, you know what I mean? That you were wronged, and it's all out there in front of God and everybody, because you don't remember, God, you said everything that's hidden is going to be revealed. So I start telling God how to do it, right?